With Paris Games Week coming to a close, one of the biggest announcements of this year's conference was the news that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds will be coming to Xbox One on December 12th. Since it entered early access on Steam this summer, console gamers have been impatiently waiting for this news, but in that time the Battle Royale concept has exploded. With new game modes, emerging subgenres and even a lawsuit on the horizon, where is Battle Royale headed next? Here's something to think about. The premise of Battle Royale is simple. As a player, you are dropped into an arena with a bunch of other players who then have to scavenge for weapons and fight to survive. It's like the Hunger Games, except that these battles usually end after about half an hour, as players are forced to move into smaller areas and towards more combat. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG for short, is the epitome of this genre. The key to its success is that any player can buy a copy and jump straight in. There isn't any tutorial, and you literally jump into your first round from a plane flying over the map. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds sold 13 million copies by the end of September. But PUBG isn't the first video game to experiment with this genre. Players had their first taste of Battle Royale in early mods for games like DayZ and Arma 3. These matches were based on the same mechanics of scavenging for weapons in an arena and fighting to the last man. Later on, H1Z1's King of the Kill delivered a full Battle Royale mode as a companion to the game, but this time bringing in the creator behind the mods. This was Brendan Green, also known by his pseudonym PlayerUnknown, the titular architect behind the development of Battlegrounds. Since developing the first mods in his spare time, Green has led the progress of Battle Royale into its own genre, and now works as a creative director at Bluehole Inc., the developer of PUBG. Yet, since Battlegrounds released in early access this summer, 2 other video games have released new game modes completely independent of Green's guidance. The immensely popular Grand Theft Auto 5 released its new Motor Wars online mode, and in September, Fortnite announced their Battle Royale mode. While the GTA mode replicated some aspects of PUBG on a smaller scale, the Fortnite mode used a familiar 100-player arena and a storm that would push players into a smaller area. This was met with resistance from Bluehole, who voiced concerns in an official statement that Fortnite may be replicating the experience for which PUBG is known. Responding to a question on Reddit, Green also stated that he hopes other companies put their own spin on the game mode and not just make a carbon copy. So, should we expect to see further replications of PUBG in the future, much like the copies of Minecraft that sprung up after its success? Fortnite's free-to-play Battle Royale mode successfully imitated the appeal of PUBG and was already playable on console, gaining over 10 million players in just 2 weeks, proving that there is a market for new Battle Royale games. However, other rivals in this market have failed to compete with PUBG. For example, H1Z1 recently released an update for the King of the Kill mode, hoping to copy a few popular mechanics from PUBG, but this wasn't enough to bring players back. So, what video games could rival PUBG in the Battle Royale genre? Based on future releases and market trends, we've made some of our own predictions.
Red Dead Royale,
The Sims 4 Battle Pack,
PlayerUnknown's Nintendogs.
On a more serious note, what new forms of Battle Royale can we see developing? The success of PUBG commanded the headlines of 2017, but just last year, an arena Battle Royale title called The Culling was Steam's 3rd best-selling title of 2016. The Culling is incredibly similar to PUBG, but is more easily likened to the Hunger Games, with more basic weapons, less players in each match, and a focus on melee combat. Players start on foot in the arena, and could scavenge for weapons, but could also craft their own by gathering basic materials. While The Culling failed to achieve the popularity of PUBG, it took this survival narrative in a new direction, using the melee combat and first-person perspective to give players the same thrills in smaller matches. The exhilaration of PUBG is created in its sudden moments of panic and relief. And more often, players find themselves on the wrong end of the barrel in these crowded arenas. In The Culling, with smaller matches, players often survive longer and remember more of these thrilling encounters. This illustrates the major drawback of Battle Royale as a genre. As it's dependent on most players being killed in each match, player frustration is difficult to avoid. With no respawning and often long waiting times to find a new match, players can easily get bored of a standalone Battle Royale game. If this is the case, then are we likely to see any more standalone Battle Royale games, or only game modes, like that of Fortnite? If Brendan Green and Bluehole have proved one thing with PUBG, it's that early access can be a successful model for new IPs. Hopefully, this means we might see other developers putting their own spin on the genre with new IPs, experimenting with new mechanics or different environments. For example, the best innovation in Fortnite's new Battle Royale mode is the ability to create walls and other structures anywhere on the map, meaning you can quickly build up a barrier between you and other enemies. So, what new mechanics could we see in future Battle Royale games? We've seen PUBG experiment with changing map conditions, but this could be developed into new environmental hazards such as flooding an area or having a dust storm sweep through. Some of the earlier Battle Royale mods also had players start in the same area, meaning that players could choose between either fighting for better weapons or fleeing from the fray. While these ideas are only speculative, we can definitely expect to see imitations of PUBG in future AAA games, like Red Dead Redemption 2, which had a similar online player versus player mode in the first game. Is this something you would play? Or do you have any better ideas for Battle Royale games? Let us know in the comments below, or send them to me on Twitter at JamesSutton. And make sure to tune in next month to another relay.